Now, page 4, liberty reborn by the 4th of July. We, the people of the United States, in order to reform a more perfect union, must reestablish justice and reinsure domestic tranquility and re-promote a general welfare and re-secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity, do ordain and establish that this Constitution must be given a rebirth no later than the 244th anniversary of this nation's founding. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little more than 5 weeks to shed the surly bonds of government tyranny and reimpose our liberty. If we do not, then God help this republic. Look at where we are. People scream at fellow Americans, treating them like they are the enemy for the perceived crime against the state of not wearing a mask while walking down an aisle at a grocery store or pumping gas at Costco. Can you explain that one to me? A requirement of a facial covering at a gas station? This is insanity. Makes no sense. This government response to the Wuhan coronavirus is the enemy within. It is doing more damage to us than the Soviet Union could have ever dreamed of inflicting on the United States of America. There is outrage on social media because young people have the unmitigated gall of having fun at the pool and along the river in the Ozarks. People trying to shame the folks enjoying their Memorial Day weekend with a little bit of fun in the sun. Oh, we can't have that. Not with the social distancing police on patrol around the country. They're running around with their identities concealed because of that mask, scolding young Americans for not maintaining 6 feet. Has anybody considered how stupid that is? How sophomoric social distancing and home confinement is? Yes, sophomoric. Both were invented by a 14-year-old high school student as part of a science project. And so now 14 years later, that girl is 28 and we are 86th from living our lives and enjoying our freedom. The truth is, life is not getting back to normal. Not anywhere in this country. Sure, Texas has businesses reopened and restaurants, but some with ridiculous limitations. Tables a certain distance apart, and only so many people allowed in at one time, and masks. Yes, employees and their masks. Has anybody stopped to think how stupid and dangerous all of this is? And how little control human beings have over Mother Nature? Have any of these political geniuses ever considered that viruses are spread often through contact with our eyes? How does a mask help with that exactly? Can you explain that one to me? And this death count. Do the networks go on the air with the death counts from the flu? Do they report how many Americans have died from the seasonal influenza each day, each week, each month? Why not? Is dying from the flu any less final, any less tragic? And now we have people wearing hazmat suits on airplanes. That is, the few Americans who have the guts to fly, given the brutal and unnecessary scare tactics from Democrat politicians and their co-conspirators in the mainstream media. Worse, some Americans have not seen nor touched another human being in 3 months. Think about that. How is that good for our country? It is incredible what Americans are allowing to have happen to their lives. Back in 1969, another pandemic swept the country, 68, 69. It was the Hong Kong flu. It killed more than 1 million people from 1968 to 1969. More than 100,000 Americans succumbed to the Hong Kong flu. Yet none of this anti-constitutional, anti-liberty, anti-social craziness that people are allowing to control their lives. And all of it because of government. It's not because of the Wuhan coronavirus. All of this pain and suffering is for a general population that has no more chance of dying from the coronavirus than from the flu. And all thanks to politicians who are seizing the moment to what exactly? Well, in the end, they're doing this in order to confiscate and consolidate power. when in the course of human events, liberty is being snatched from all of us, and in order to prevent massive permanent damage, it must be reborn by the 4th of July. However, these big city, blue city mayors in places like New York and Chicago and Los Angeles have no intention of allowing residents of those cities to celebrate Independence Day free.
We've also reached a sad milestone in the city of Los Angeles where we have now over 1,000 deaths, 1,001 deaths.
Stop tape. Okay, 1,000 deaths is tragic by any means, right? Whether it is suicide or heart attack or cancer or the coronavirus. But do the math. First of all, he's keeping tabs since February of 2020. It is now coming up on June. So it's roughly 4 months since he's been keeping track of the people who have died from the Wuhan coronavirus. You're talking about a quarter, maybe a little bit more than a quarter here. 1,000 people in a city of 4 million people. Run the numbers, Los Angeles. Listen to these people. Listen to your officials who are leading you off a cliff financially, philosophically, and constitutionally. Listen and do the math. Your odds of dying from the Wuhan coronavirus judged by this guy and in his numbers is 0.0002. I would imagine you have a greater chance of being killed on an LA freeway on a typical day when life is, quote, normal, than you do being killed by the Wuhan coronavirus. I'm sorry, but 1,000 people over 4 months in a city of 4 million people is statistically nothing. Yet here you have the mayor of the second largest city in America coming out and saying how horrible it is. Again, yes, any loss of life is horrible, but keep it in perspective. You're shutting down the lives of millions and millions of people. And in the county, it's 10 million people. And they're doing the same thing in LA County as they're doing effectively in the city of Los Angeles. 10 million people on lockdown based on these numbers. That's the other thing. You have the county health examiner or the health commissioner, whoever she is, the one that looks like Dr. Death. She comes out and she says to the people of Los Angeles County, hey, these are the numbers. And 90% of the dead, which is around 2,000 in the county of Los Angeles, 90% of the dead in Los Angeles County had comorbidities. They had underlying health conditions that complicated when they got the Wuhan coronavirus. And more than 50%, more than half of the people in Los Angeles County who have succumbed to this disease, to this illness, were in nursing homes. So, people of Los Angeles, time is of the essence here. You have the power. You can reject what this radical maniac is imposing on you. Don't you want to go back to work, to your lives? Don't you want to go to a Dodger game? Do your homework. It is easy. Divide 10 million, that's the population of LA County, into 2,000. That's the number of dead by corona. Those are your odds of dying from COVID-19. Your odds of dying at home from a heart attack from all of this home confinement are higher.